Hello everyone, this is Breanna Rutter, author of one of my most popular books, The Natural Hair Bible, and founder of HowToBlackHair.com. For this tutorial, I will be teaching you how to do individual tree braid extensions. Now, individual tree braids are vastly different from any other style because this is an advanced look. You have to incorporate two different elements in order to achieve the look that you desire. To do individual tree braid extensions, you have to know how to do box braids or individual braids, as well as how to do cornrow tree braids. When you're doing cornrow tree braids, you have to braid a cornrow braid along the scalp and then leave out pieces of hair along the way to achieve your desired look. When braiding individual braids, you have to use some extension hair to braid a small braid away from the scalp to give you that desired look. Now you combine these two elements to create your individual tree braid, because when doing this style, you have to braid away from the scalp like an individual braid, but you have to leave out pieces of weaving hair along the way. So the following materials you will need to do individual tree braid extensions will be 4 packages of wavy braiding hair. You will need a wide tooth comb for detangling, a rat tail comb for parting, duck bill clips to keep your hair sectioned, hair cutting scissors. You will need super nail glue to help you seal your braids. And then for styling, you will need bobby pins, rubber bands, and a hair tie or a large headband. So now that you have all of your supplies and materials, in the very next step, step number 2, I will be teaching you how to do the individual tree braid extension technique step by step. Hello and welcome to step number 2 of the individual tree braid extension hairstyle. In this step, I will be teaching you step by step how to do the individual tree braid technique. So first, in order to begin, I will demonstrate by showing you how to actually part out your sections of hair, how to actually incorporate your braiding hair onto your real hair, and then how to do the tree braiding technique step by step. Okay, so now I will be showing you how to do the individual tree braiding technique step by step. So first, before you actually begin braiding, you have to make sure to prepare your section of hair you will actually be working on. So use your rat tail comb for parting and your wide tooth comb to help detangle your hair. I've already done so. I have 2 braids to do, and I'm going to demonstrate how to do the technique on one of my braids. So here's my section of hair that I will be working on right here. It's already been detangled and parted, and this is another section I have to do as well. So I'm going to show you on this section here. Once you have your section ready, now you're going to prepare your hands with your braiding hair. So depending on if you're using curly or wavy hair, usually most times they're already predetermined in sections, as you can see here. So that way you don't have to further divide the hair in order to actually braid with it. So what I'm going to do is grab 2 pieces, and I'm going to show you how to actually position the hair in your hands. If you want more detailed information all about doing individual braids, you have to refer to my braiding DVD. So when preparing, you want to either take the smaller piece and wrap it around for your 1/3 and 2/3 section, or if they're both the same size, just go ahead and wrap one around the other, and then position the braiding hair in your hands just like you are doing an actual individual braid or box braid extension. So now I'm going to show you how to actually braid your individual tree braid. So first, just begin by braiding an actual individual braid. You want to braid down about 6 to 8 times before you actually start pulling out pieces of your extension hair. Now, if you want the tree braiding technique to be of a more extreme effect, you would only braid a couple of times from the scalp before you actually begin releasing hair. But to make sure that you have your braids solidly on your hair, you can braid about a couple of inches of braid before you actually begin releasing. Now I'm going to show you how to actually do the tree braiding technique. So I'm just pushing the hair over in front of me so that I can show you how to take out individual pieces of braiding hair. Keep all 3 legs of your braid separate, but you're going to grab one leg of your braid and you're going to pinch off a small piece of the hair. Make sure you detangle it all the way through. And after you separate a piece from the leg, you're going to push it over your head just so it doesn't get back into your braid. Now what you can do is use a duck bill clip to stop the hair from falling back down by clipping right here, or you can just push it over your head if you're more comfortable with that. And then continue braiding. You're going to braid a couple of times and then you're going to release one of the legs again, or part of the leg. So after you braid a couple times, release some of the hair on the opposite side of your braid. This is a similar technique to doing an actual cornrow tree braid. That's why you have to know how to do the tree braiding style for cornrows so you can understand more in detail how to do this process. So now you just pinch off a small piece and you put that over your head just to move it out of the way. So as you can see, there's a leg here and then there's a leg here that I also just took out. If it helps, use a duck bill clip, of course, to keep the hairs from falling down. But until then, just continue to braid and alternately take out a piece on each side of your braid until you've braided past your real hair. So now just keep doing this process, and then once you braid past your hair, I'm going to show you how to seal the end of your braid with your super nail glue. So now we're so close to the end of my real hair that I'm just going to braid all the way past it. Now once you braid about ½ inch to an inch past your real hair, then it's safe to actually glue the braid. Some individuals like to do the slip knot technique where you actually use a small piece of hair to form a knot around the bottom of your braid, but to make sure that this braid does not unravel, it's a great idea to use super nail glue to actually seal the braid. So the reason why I did not continue to release all the way down is for a couple of reasons. One is because the braid gradually gets thinner, so if you constantly release hair, it will be very hard for you to effectively braid past your real hair without leaving your real hair out on accident. This braid is vastly thinner than the braid at the root as it began because of all the hair I've left out along the way. So now I'm going to show you how to actually seal the end, and it's very simple. I'm going to use my glue, and what you want to do is put just one drop or a couple of drops on there just so it doesn't unravel. You don't want to soak the end of your braid with glue. You just want a small drop so that way it doesn't unravel. So just tap it a little bit, squeeze just a little bit, and put one drop right there on your braid, and I like to rub it in a little bit with the neck of the super glue. Then I like to blow, fan it just a little bit so that it can dry. And then you can release your hair down and your tree braid is finished. As you can see, when all of the braids are put together, you won't see the actual small piece of braid when all of it's added because you constantly put out pieces along the way. And then when you push it over to blend with the rest of your hair, it will look very seamless. So as you can see, the individual tree braiding technique is a very simple process, just as long as you know how to do cornrow tree braids as well as individual braids also. So just to recap, make sure that you've already sectioned out your appropriate area of hair to begin braiding. And then when braiding, use 2 pieces of hair or as much as you would like per braid and actually begin braiding an individual braid. Now, if you want less of your braid to show closest to your root, then start releasing pieces of extension hair very early on. But just to make sure that your extensions are onto your hair and they won't slide off whatsoever, I suggest that you braid about 1 inch or 2 of your individual braid before you begin releasing hair. So you can braid a couple of times to start releasing as soon as possible, or you can braid an inch or two and then start to release pieces of hair as you would like. So after that, use a little bit of glue to seal the end and then continue over your entire head to finish your look. So now in the very next step, step number 3, I will be showing you how easy and simple it is to braid the back of your head. Here we are in step number 3 of the individual tree braid extension hairstyle. In this step, I will be showing you how simple and easy it is to braid the back of your head. For some individuals, this is quite difficult because it's more comfortable to braid the front because you can see your hands and see everything that's going on. Now, in order to braid the back of your head, it's going to take some patience and practice, but I'm going to show you how simple it is to do so. So here we are at the back of my head, and I'm going to show you step by step how simple it is to still braid even though you're at the back. Now, the issue with this with a lot of individuals is that when you are braiding the back, it feels totally different than the front. It's very easy to actually see your hands in front of you and get used to braiding your hair in front so that way you can see everything you're doing. Now, the problem with braiding the back is not the technique, because the technique is the same. It's just a mental block because you can't see. So you have to just get over the fact that your hands are behind you, and then you can actually begin to braid. This still will take practice and you have to be patient, but you will quickly understand that if you just do the same motions in the back of your head like the front of your head, you will get the same results. So just to show you, I'm going to prepare the hair exactly the same way I always do. The same way I prepare the hair for the back of my head is the same way I prepare the hair for the front of my head. Now make sure the hair is positioned in your dominant hand. So you just position the hair into your fingers in your dominant hand. Now I'm going to bring this hand around and begin braiding. So you just place your hand right over your head. Now, if it was my left hand, I would cross my left hand over, but since my right hand is dominant, my right hand is crossed over in the back. Use your other hand to locate the area you need to braid and actually begin braiding. You're doing the same braiding technique like you would at the front. You're just in the back of your head. So you're going to keep braiding about an inch or two past your scalp with your individual braid, but if you have been releasing extension hair sooner, then you're going to switch your arms around sooner. So now in order to make this more of a comfortable braid, I'm just going to grab my right hand and move it over to the side. Reposition my fingers and just continue braiding. Now at this point, you have to take out hair along the way to do the tree braiding technique. So I'm going to pinch a little piece, separate it, and then I'm going to push it over my head, but you can also use your duckbill clip to prevent the hair from falling down as well. So I'm just going to push that over, and I'm just going to continue braiding and doing the same technique. Now, if it helps you, make sure to have a mirror in front to assist you so that you can see what you're doing now that your hands are positioned on the side here. So just continue braiding and taking out pieces of hair along the way. And of course, if your braid is becoming too thin to take out pieces of hair, just continue braiding past your real hair and then glue the end. Not the very end, but glue the end of the braid once you've passed about an inch or two past your real hair. So I'm definitely past my hair, and at this point I am going to glue, and then I'm going to release all the hairs down to show you that it's going to turn out the exact same way in the back as the front. So you fan it just so that it can dry and it's not sticky, and then you're gonna pull down all of your legs to see your finished result. So as you can see, braiding the back of your head is a very simple and easy process, but it may be difficult for some depending on how much experience you have when doing so. To braid the back, you're simply going to go through the same motions you do in the front of your head. Your hands are just positioned in the back. Be sure to be patient and take your time to make sure that the hair is attached properly and that you're pulling out pieces of hair along the way effectively. To help you even more, put a stand-up mirror to position in front of you and behind you to clearly see the back of your head as you are doing that process. So now that you've finished braiding the back of your head, in the very next step, step number 4, I will be sharing with you some hair care tips and tricks to keep your hair healthy and your extensions looking fresh. Here we are in step number 4 of the Individual Tree Braids hairstyle. In this step, I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks on how to keep your scalp and hair healthy and clean, as well as how to keep your style looking fresh. The very first tip that I'm going to share is that you have to incorporate your hair care regimen with your products, but your products have to be brought down to a watery consistency. So what you want to do is have an applicator bottle designated for each specific product that you use to take care of your hair. So typically you have your shampoo, your rinse conditioner, your leave-in moisturizer, your oil sealant, or any other products that you use in your regimen as well. Use a separate applicator bottle for each product, put a little bit of product into each bottle, and then fill it up with some water so that it's at a watery consistency. The reason why this is the most important part of your hair care regimen is because you have to make sure that you're keeping your hair moisturized as well as clean. So when you actually go into the shower or to your sink to wash your hair and your scalp, you have to make sure that the products can easily go through your braids and also lubricate your scalp, and also because of the watery consistency, it will easily rinse off when you're actually rinsing your hair. So use an applicator bottle or a spray bottle with some of your shampoo, for example, shampoo and water, and then spray it along your scalp. Use the pads of your fingers to gently massage your scalp and your hair, so that way all of the debris will be lifted, such as dead skin cells, dirt, and even product buildup. After you've done that to actually massage your scalp with your watery consistency shampoo, then you're going to rinse your scalp and hair with warm water. If this helps, put all of your hair into 4 or 5 large braids or ponytails to keep the hair from being out of the way, so that washing and shampooing and things like that will be a very simple process. So then when you're using your conditioner, bring it to a watery consistency and put it on your hair. Avoid your scalp so that you can avoid product buildup, but apply the conditioner and run it through your actual braids, so that way you're actually moisturizing your hair even though it's braided with your weave. And then use water to rinse out the remaining product, and so on and so forth for your moisturizers and things like that. So now my second tip is that after you've washed your hair and conditioned and done everything you needed to do for your hair care regimen, make sure that you're daily applying some type of moisturizer to your scalp. Now this isn't necessary for your hair if you feel like you can retain moisture well, and if you can't, use your conditioner, water down with water, and then spray your braids so that way it stays as moisturized as long as possible, or as much as you need it to. For some individuals, they have to apply moisture to their hair every 2 or 3 days. days. So even though you're wearing braids, go ahead and spray your braids with some of your conditioner and water every 2 to 3 days. Now it's important that you keep your scalp moisturized for a number of reasons. This is going to stop your hair from getting severely dry, and it's also going to maintain a very neat appearance to your hair and scalp. If you're allowing your scalp to constantly get dry, you're going to have dandruff all over your braids, and you're going to have to shampoo more frequently than what you actually need to. So my tip is that daily you want to dip your fingers in a little bit of coconut oil, or warm it up with your fingers if it's solid, and then you're going to just run your fingers down your parts. This is going to keep your scalp moisturized and healthy, so that way you're not having a lot of issues with dandruff, and you don't have to incorporate some type of conditioner, washing, or things like that along the way that's unnecessary for you to do. Now, my very last tip is that when you're going to bed, you got to preserve your hair with some type of satin or silk material. The reason why is because if you are sleeping on a cotton pillowcase typically, or if you're typically sleeping with a cotton scarf, the cotton is very absorbent and it will suck out any and every piece of moisture or water that's keeping your scalp and hair healthy. So when you actually wake up, your hairline will be more dry, your braids will look frizzy and dry, and this can lead to a lot of breakage. So to avoid this, wear a large silk or satin bonnet depending on how voluminous your hairstyle is, or sleep on a silk or satin pillowcase. So that way when you actually wake up in the morning and get ready to prepare your hair, whether you're styling it for the next day or just to wear it as is, your hairline isn't dry. You don't have to constantly apply moisturizer to keep your hair and scalp healthy. So just be sure also that when you're going to bed that you pineapple your hair. Depending on how long your extensions are, it may be best for you to just put a bonnet over your head or to sleep with a pillowcase. But if you have very long extensions with your individual tree braids, I suggest that you gather all of your hair up into the highest ponytail you could possibly do at the very top of your head, and just wrap a ponytail holder around it. That's simply called pineappling your hair. So that way when you actually lay down, you can lay on either side without the hair being in your way, because the hair is at the top of your head. So those are my tips for keeping your hair healthy, your scalp healthy, as well as keeping your style looking fresh. So incorporate those tips to maintain your look, and then in the very next step, step number 5, I will be showing you the finished results to the actual individual tree braids hairstyle. Here we are in step number 5, the finished results to the individual tree braid extension hairstyle. So now that your look has been complete, in the very next step, step number 6, I will be teaching you how to do 3 simple looks with your very new style. Welcome to step number 6 of the individual tree braids hairstyle. In this step, I will be teaching you 3 very simple ways to style your new look. The first style will be called the fishtail side braid. The second style will be called the low ponytail fishtail. And the third style will be called the skyscraper ponytail. For the very first hairstyle, I will be teaching you how to do the fishtail side braid. On the left side of your head, you're going to gather hair at the top, and then you're going to lightly underhand braid that hair. Then you're going to gather all of the hair to the left as well, and you will fishtail braid and secure with a rubber band. For style number 2, I will be teaching you how to do the low ponytail fishtail. To begin, you're going to braid 2 large braids in the front of your head and let those hang down as you do your low ponytail fishtail. Once your fishtail is finished, you're going to pull those 2 braids straight back and pin in place. For style number 3, I will be teaching you how to do the skyscraper ponytail. You have to gather all of your hair up into a high ponytail and then take a portion of your ponytail, braid it into a large braid, wrap it around the base, and secure it for your final look. As you can see, I've shown you 3 very simple ways to style your new look. In the very next step, step number 7, I will be teaching you how to safely take down and remove your individual tree braid extensions. Welcome to step number 7 of the Individual Tree Braids Hairstyle. In this step, I will be teaching you how to safely remove your hair extensions. So to begin, you want to make sure to cut off the glued portion of your braid and then continue to take the braid down by hand. If you need additional help, use the tail end of your rat tail comb to assist you with taking down your braids as you remove your extensions. As you can see, I have one braid that I've let loose here, and I've pinned the rest of my braids back because for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you how to take down one individual tree braid. And of course, the way that I show you how to take your braid down will be demonstrated all over your head to completely remove your extensions. So use your hands to locate the area where you've applied the super nail glue. If you don't see any super nail glue, it's perfectly fine because super nail glue is invisible. When you drop it onto your braid, you usually don't see anything. Sometimes you may see a very small white residue, but usually you don't see a thing. So use your fingers to feel where the glue is, and the glue is right here on my braid. Now only cut directly above the glue to make sure that you have not cut your real hair. If you do use glue, you have to always make sure that you braid about 1 inch or 2 past your real hair and then apply a drop of glue. So just cut right above the glue and then continue taking down by hand. As you're taking your braid down, don't worry about thoroughly detangling your sections of hair as you're removing your extension. It's just very important to just unravel your braid because there's so many pieces sticking out at random portions. If you worry about thoroughly detangling each section, it will take you a very long time to remove your extensions. So focus on just unraveling your braid and letting everything else just naturally slide down as you finish removing your extension. As you can see, taking down your individual tree braid extensions is very easy. Just make sure that you are only cutting the glued portion and then continue taking down by hand, and also use your rat tail comb to assist you in the process. So that's it for the individual tree braid hairstyle. For more information on our videos, blog, and online store, check out HowToBlackHair.com for more. Thanks for watching.